The Celtics Talk podcast is presented by 24autogroup.com. 11 locations across New England.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into the post-game pod. We're back, baby! So back! It's been a while since we've done one of these,
Now, usually you're just talking into your phone.
And you come by and roast me.
Sadly, in the dark.
Sometimes I sit up here, I watch the Bull Gang pull up the court and talk to myself, and it's sad. But now I have a co-host with me, Abby.
So excited.
Coming to you after Game 1. Celtics take down the Miami Heat, 114-94. Look, I even have notes.
Look at you.
It's the postseason, baby. Got to go up a level.
Professional.
I want to start with this. What was your biggest takeaway overall from today's game?
That the Celtics should have no trouble with this Miami Heat squad.
You needed to see a game to know that?
I think the only thing that gave me pause was the layoff. And I was genuinely worried about rust with the Heat coming in having played in a playoff mode for, the better part of the last few weeks.
Fair.
So that was the only thing that gave me pause, but, the Celtics clamped that down from the jump.
You know what's funny? I didn't realize this. Scal actually told me this when we sat down to watch the game. The Jays had never beaten Miami in Game 1.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, 3 of the last 4 years that they played, they had not won.
You're right. Dig Light did have that stat that Miami has won.
Crazy, right?
Every game won for the last 7 or
so. I like that with a chance to sort of set the tone, establish that you are the dominant team in this series.
Yes.
The Boston Celtics came out, scored the first 14 points, let them back in, out of the kindness of their heart, but still a wire-to-wire win.
I don't know if it was the kindness of their heart. It was more so trying to get their superstar a triple-double. Really looking for that assist for Jayson Tatum.
They did hunt, and this has happened now, when Peyton was hunting for a triple-double, and O'Shea stole his rebound. Derek White, they kind of fell apart when they were chasing his triple. No more triple-double chasing.
It
Just
worked out
game.
all right. They had built the lead up enough that you could mess around and get a triple-double.
Unfortunately, Jayson Tatum was still on the court with a minute and a half to go.
Ooh, so what do you think about this?
Okay,
the confrontation.
In the moment, I'm okay, it was a thing, and I
gasped a little when Jayson fell down.
100%, but then he popped right back up. Scal very worked up about this in our post-game show. About the fact that the Celtics, how the Celtics responded to that moment with Tatum just kind of walking away, how people weren't making a bigger deal about how the Miami Heat are trying to junk up this series.
Well, Jaylen Brown, I think what I got excited about was Jaylen Brown coming to the defense of Jayson Tatum.
He was just excuse me.
Yep, and could be a galvanizing moment for them. But also, Joe Mazzulla, the very last question in his press conference, was asked about that, and he said, I got excited. He wants to see that fire out of his guys. This is a guy who enjoys, getting himself into a chokehold. Yeah, choked out in jiu-jitsu. So he wants to see that fire from his guys. Luckily, no one was injured.
We've seen Joe block an opponent's shot. Would Joe ever fight an opponent player?
No. I don't think so.
You answered that very definitively, and then you kind of started thinking about it. You're like, well, I can't say
what is the situation? Are they on the floor? Is it after? But tonight, they won't let him block the shot, but at least twice tonight, he ran to get the ball from out of bounds and threw it to the ref and was like, let's go!
Let's go, yeah. He was fired up as much as anybody out there. So my case to Scal was that I liked the way Tatum responded. Popping right back up, walking away. To me, it came off as, you're not going to get inside my head. You knocked me down. It hurt like hell, but I'm going to just get up. I'm going to go down the other end, shoot my free throws. And then they had that little weird one-on-one.
Right.
And they kind of hugged it out.
Possession. Yeah.
And it seemed to diffuse everything a little bit. But Scal's point is the Celtics should be more upset because he feels like the only way the Miami Heat can get into this series is to junk things up. And I think you got to just kind of ignore it.
Absolutely. I think that's really the only choice you have. You're right, because that's what the Heat want to bring out of you, is to take you out of that mindset.
They can't beat you with skill.
But it's also, Jaylen, I feel like, may have some residual leftover animosity, yes, towards the Heat after the whole Duncan Robinson thing and the fact that they called Jaylen a dirty player. That was ridiculous.
So, I do think it was irrational to expect that this series to go, no matter how long it goes, 4 games, 5 games, probably ain't going more than that.
It shouldn't.
To expect that there wasn't going to be some sort of dust-up between two teams that have this long-standing rivalry 4 times in 5 years, all the regular season flare-ups. I sort of expected this.
I expected more of it.
Really?
Everyone going into this series, you knew it was going to be physical. Everybody you talked to in the practices leading up, and Joe Mazzulla, the physicality was going to be a key. And while it certainly was a physical game, it felt like a playoff like game. It wasn't what I was expecting between the Celtics and the Heat. And that's because the Celtics came out and started out so well, so dominant, and then were just hitting threes, tying the franchise record for threes in a playoff game. So,
which I don't
it's hard to get physical when they're knocking down shots.
That record is not going to stand very long. Celtics didn't make a ton of second half 3-pointers, and it feels like there's going to be a game this postseason where they maybe even approach the NBA record, which I think is 25. Poor Dick Light was still getting harassed throughout this game, even though we don't have the broadcast, about like...
He sent notes today. Dick's working today.
I know, and now he's going to have to work the next at least 2 or 3 because as the Celtics... Well, 3 at least, yes. As the Celtics try to put this away. Gorman getting some Jumbotron time.
That was my favorite moment
Highlight
of the
night.
Yep. Was that third or fourth quarter?
That, I believe, was third quarter, probably coming... I think it was right after the Celtics had dominated the middle frames. And as if like the building wasn't going delirious enough, let's throw Mike Gorman in his front row seat on the baseline near the Heat bench. Put on his
championship ring, a pop around the entire arena. It was awesome.
I mean, I love it. Let's hope that he has a second ring to show off when all this is over.
So wait,
go for it.
What are your takeaways from game one?
So the dust-up became the storyline, and I don't know. Like, it felt like it was such a weird thing because our post-game set wanted to talk all about it, and it didn't seem like anyone in the locker room was really like worked up about it. So there's a disconnect there. Maybe we're just hungry for storylines in the media. I think my bigger takeaway came back to the fact that the Celtics haven't started series well against this team. The things that plagued them last year, turnovers, not shooting the three-point shot well, everything was cured today. And that doesn't mean it's going to be that way every game this series. But you start looking ahead, they're 15-point favorites going into game 2.
Wow.
I mean, so you sort of get the sense that if they play to their potential, this really shouldn't be much of a series. And yet we know Spoelstra's going to do something and junk it up and just not be content to do tea kettle timeouts the whole time.
I go straight to the third quarter because that is where the Celtics fell apart in that series a year ago.
That's a good point.
In game 1, gave up 46 points and just
did not look like
themselves. Yes. And so this time around, the Celtics came out, held the Heat to 14 points. And these are two very different teams than a season ago. We know the additions of Kristaps and Drew Holiday, but for the Heat, you can't discount the loss of Jimmy Butler. And even, they signed...
But we're not making excuses here, Abby. Did the Celtics make excuses last year when Jayson Tatum wasn't available, or wasn't himself for Game 7? We kind of made excuses. But, we can do that. He didn't. And so the Heat cannot use that as a crutch. They still have plenty of talent. They should be able to...
Still have Heat culture.
Yeah. Which is just undercutting people and hoping they hurt themselves. So we'll see how that all fizzles out and plays out. We'll see if it carries over to Game 2. Let's talk about Derek White, who had a big second half. You got a chance to catch up with him?
In the third quarter.
Yeah?
Yes.
How was he? I believe you'll hear that interview coming up.
Oh, okay. Yeah. He was pretty short on the floor, clearly locked in, because I asked, what kind of message can this send? They led by as many as 34, and he said, there's no message sent. We know that there's still a lot of work to do, and that's exactly what he said. And when I asked, you now take Game 1, what does this mean going forward? And he just said, it means nothing. So, maybe they are back. I know it's 1-0, but maybe they're in their minds, they're still at 0-0.
They are such robots sometimes. They're so singularly focused.
You have to appreciate it in this run.
Oh, for sure.
Really, what they did today was take care of business. This was expected.
Now we only have to wait 9 days until Game 3.
Oh my gosh.
Game 2.
Again.
It's just brutal. Kristaps Porzingis.
Yes.
Playoff debut for the Celtics. What would you take away from him?
There was at one point where he had gotten an offensive rebound, and there were 4 Heat players, because they're so undersized at the moment, just putting their arms up against him. And he's just what is happening? And fun, and hit the layup. It was. I think that I would not complain if we would be able to bubble wrap Kristaps up for the fourth quarter, or even a couple of games in this series.
It's probably the only disappointing part about today was that as good as they were in the second and third quarter, they let them back in a little bit, whether it was double hunting or just getting away from themselves. Probably could have got this thing. But I thought Kristaps overall, you mentioned that play, just attacking Tyler Hero early. They were clearly trying to take advantage of him in the post after JB lit the fuse. Everyone had a little bit of something in here.
Kristaps also taken on the challenge of guarding Bam one-on-one. And he had a couple of blocks. am interested to see what your numbers will
Yeah,
be in that matchup.
So, like, anecdotally, based on what I saw, I don't think they're going to be great. Bam actually had like 6 straight points at one point, where he just kind of got going. And he's going to do that. He's an all-star and great player for a reason.
They're running the entire offense through him on every single possession.
But that's really all they've got. If Hero and Robinson are not making threes, and Caleb Martin clearly not making threes, then it gets more difficult. And they're going to have to, Bam's going to have like what for him is like a super loud game, a 30-point night, for them to be successful in this series.
But Kristaps really kind of parroting Joe Mazzulla in saying that when they did let go of the rope, that is what they can now use for fuel going forward in this series.
They always always finding positives in negatives.
Joe likes that adversity, so you can have something to learn from.
Let me see what else is on my list here. The bench.
Yes.
Bench dudes.
Can we talk about Peyton Pritchard?
Did you expect
phenomenal.
that from the bench guy?
Absolutely. You didn't?
No.
From
no, and I know,
Peyton and Sam?
All right, let me rephrase that because that sounds slanderous. But the bench was so good during the course of the regular season, but more so highly efficient in terms of they didn't need to score, right? Like when you've got Kristaps and Derek and Drew and Jason and Jalen, you don't need to lean on them. But they would have their moments where they would come in and be really impactful. And now, I didn't expect a night like Peyton had at the finish line of the season where everything goes through him because he's one of the stars out there. But
you didn't expect that?
I didn't, because you shouldn't have to lean on Peyton Pritchard that much. And yet he got so many shots tonight. Subbing in the first 8 minutes of the game, that was a little jarring because usually we come in until the second quarter.
Surprised by that a little bit.
And then Sam misses a couple shots. I'm like, here we go. Then he makes 3 in a row, and so no, if you're going to walk away with like ranking the positives, the play of your bench guys, especially spots 7 and 8. When I wasn't sure what you were going to get, because I think sometimes it gets a little bit more difficult in the postseason. The roles are a little bit more diminished. Teams are going to target Peyton and Hauser when they're out there.
Which they did
and they
on
held
defense,
up.
and they held their own. Mm-hmm. And then you're right, Sam knocking down that first shot I think was a huge relief, not only for him, but I think everyone in this crowd, because you are pulling for Sam, and especially you look at how much playing time he got in the last playoff run. So this is what he's been working for. This is what he's been working towards, is to earn the trust of the coaching staff in these moments. And he came through tonight. But I didn't have much doubt. I mean,
you're a positive person.
That's true. I also believe in these guys, know what they're capable of.
I believe
Peyton was phenomenal in
somehow
bringing the energy.
This turned into bench slander, and that's not what I was going for. But I'll take that. I'll say that. I did not expect them to be as impactful, especially out of the gates, as you start to lean on your core more often.
In addition, they're also playing against Miami's, what?
A lot of
10, 11.
It's not an excuse. You sound like you're making excuses for the Heat.
No. Why do they need excuses made for them?
There's no excuses to be made. Give me one thing you want to see the Celtics do better in Game 2.
Ooh, they were so good on the margins is the thing. We're to find areas of improvement.
I think turnovers were good. Maybe during that.
Yeah, turnovers were great. They were less than 5.
I think they had 3 at the half, so it couldn't have been a lot.
They were great on the boards. Held Miami to just 5 offensive rebounds, although Miami not good at rebounding in general. I think it's going to be continuing to work for the better shot.
Sure.
Especially after tonight, having so much success from the 3-point line, seeing how impactful that can be. To then also, I think that was something Derek White, we saw after he did hit a mid-range in the third quarter, pointed to Sam Cassell. And Sam was like, yeah, it doesn't have to be right at the bucket or on the perimeter. If you get a good shot, take it.
Sam Cassell loved the mid-range, so he was just kind of reminding the guys, you can go there.
That's available. It's possible.
Same thing happened with Tatum in a play like in the first half where he was very excited. And that one felt more like they were drawing up, trying to get Tatum to get going in that spot, which he did, obviously, with a triple-double and spraying the ball around. But yeah, it's good for Sam to be like, hey, guys, let's get back to the mid-range. Yeah.
What do you think of Jason's game tonight? Because Kristaps Porzingis post-game called it beautiful and really felt like the way he started this game kind of sparked everyone else, setting guys up. He did have 6 assists in the first quarter.
I need Kristaps Porzingis as my life coach because he makes everything just sound so much happier and joyful, and he finds so much joy in everything. Even just watching him, so the guys all warm up and they're waiting for the anthem, and like Kristaps comes out for like the 3rd time tonight, and everyone roars, and he's just like, "Hello, very presidential. How's everybody doing?" I just love that.
And then the accent helps when he's talking.
It does too, and I think it's got to help that he was in Basketball Siberia last year with the Wizards and had never been out of the first round. For Tatum, This is the sort of game that you need more often from him. Like, he's going to score, he's going to do his thing, but you have enough talent now with this iteration of the team where if they're going to send doubles, he has to abuse it every single time. And the 6 first-half assists were awesome. It got the three-point shot going. It got good looks for everybody. All the more reason why guys like Sam and Peyton have to knock down shots when they're out there, because the other teams are going to challenge them. Tatum played exactly the right way. You're probably right. They probably got a little lost trying to get that last assist. Who got the shot that finally...
I don't know, but I will say that I think that that's okay with me because Derek. I mean, of course, Derek, everybody's favorite teammate. But that's okay with me because I feel like you should reward Jayson for what he did early, not having to go out there and put it upon himself to try to do too much and be that guy who goes out and scores 40 because everyone's questioning your clutch ability. I think that Jayson went out and played the game that the Celtics needed him to play, and that should be rewarded. So yes, go hunt your triple-double so you can get the first one of your playoff career and let that be a starting point.
Which is kind of crazy to me. Like, I would have thought Tatum had one along the way.
I always go back to Ime Udoka telling me Jayson Tatum is capable of getting a triple-double every night. So we'll see.
So challenge accepted. Challenge Jayson Tatum. Get out there and do that. I got nothing else. Like, I want to look ahead to game 2.
I feel like we've talked a lot about one game.
I know. But like game 2, like, is there anything? I got nothing on my card though.
What are we going to talk about in Post Up on Tuesday?
I have no idea. I was hoping you had something.
What's left?
Did you see Tyler Hero's outfit?
Yes. That hat? What is that hat?
Can you imagine going whatever 4 for 12 and then showing up at a podium wearing that?
No.
I mean,
I can't imagine looking at that and putting it on.
The upside down.
No matter the situation.
It's a Miami scarf.
I don't really like hats in general. I'm not a hat person. My ears stick out too far from my head.
It's usually the point where we say the podcast has gone too long when we start talking about Abby's hats. Well, I'm excited to have you back on the pod. Are you gonna hang out for this postseason run with me?
Are we gonna do this before 1 o'clock in the morning?
We'll see.
Going forward?
No promises. Enjoy your Sunday afternoon while you can because it's going to get later.
I've got a bake-off with Mabel. Cupcake bake. I'm very excited.
Both have to do cupcakes?
We're both making cupcakes. Coconut is a secret ingredient. It's not really a secret, obviously, but have to
It'd be a surprise to
showcase the coconut.
All right, here's the rest of our postgame
Yeah, I gotta go.
Well, let's get into that third quarter where they just decided enough's enough, and the Celtics kind of distanced themselves and built that 34-point lead.
Franchise record, tied the franchise record for threes in 22. They got them all night. They knocked down shots. I mean, the only thing we could even complain about with this team today is at the end, just letting go of the rope a little bit. But this team right now, they were clicking on all cylinders, and throughout this game, they had their game plan, and they played with a ton of confidence.
Yeah, and it seemed like Miami's main focus was Jayson Tatum not going to be the guy to beat us. We're going to send 2 at times. You've seen 3 leaning over in his direction. He made the right play, ended up with 10 assists, got the triple-double that he was looking for. Just making the right play, making him pay. Miami's going to have to go back to the drawing board and figure out, what are they going to do to try to stop this team because it's so many weapons. And I talked about it earlier, Porzingis being the X factor. And I thought Porzingis did a fantastic job, not only inside, outside, anywhere that he needed it, protecting the rim. I thought he was great tonight.
Think about Miami's a good team. They're prepared. With Porzingis out there, we are unguardable. Teams have to account for him, which will open up the floor for other people. Eventually will open up the floor offensively for a guy like Jayson Tatum.
All right, Derek White, meanwhile, had a huge 3 in the fourth quarter there when Miami was kind of rolling and trying to make this thing a game late. He's standing by with Abby Chin down on the floor. Abby?
Well, Derek, you guys had to wait long enough, but you came out here, took command from the jump. What was the collective mindset?
So we're ready to go. Like it's been forever since we played, but good week of practice, ready to go, and got a good win right here, game 1.
For you personally, you didn't get your first field goal until the end of the second quarter, but then in the third quarter came out in double digits. What got you going?
I missed some good shots in the first half and just continue to get those good looks and finally made some. So it's good to make some and get a good win.
Defensively, you guys held them under 60 for those first 3 quarters. What did you like best at that end?
We made them work. They're going to make tough shots. They're going to keep coming at us for 48 minutes. So learn from this one and be ready for game 2.
That last first play-in game, the Miami fans were chanting, "We want Boston." What kind of message does this win send?
No message, just we won one game. We gotta keep going.
Derek, thank you. Congrats.
Yep.
All right, Scal mentioned 22 threes for the Celtics, which ties a postseason franchise record, 22 of 49. So they're not just getting and making 22 threes, but they're making them at a high clip as well. Right?
Yeah, well, they're moving the basketball. They had 27 assists, and they were just making the right play. And if it wasn't the pass that led to the shot, it was the hockey assist, or it was the double hockey assist, I would call it. You pass to me, I pass to him, he hit somebody else.
You wouldn't want to pass to him. Like, if I pass to you, you got to skip and go to Kevin.
Or what? No, why don't just shoot it?
Yeah, you might as well, because that's what they should do. One thing is, with this team, with the shooting, they have the weapons, and they're very unselfish, and they got great spacing. We were, at times, me and Eddie would talk last year, man, our spacing's not good. Like, we're not going to be able to win like this. I don't like playing 5 out. This year, it's completely different. They have the bodies. They have the guys coming off the bench to knock down threes. Like, this team is really clicking.
All right, now let's get to what we saw there in the final couple minutes, because Miami trying to make a game of it. And again, he still had the Celtic starters out there as, you know, the Heat were able to chip away. And Jayson Tatum going up for a rebound with about 90 seconds to go, and Caleb Martin crashing into him. You saw Tatum bounce up right away, Scal, but what did you make of that play?
Break it down.
I mean, I don't want to break it down while we're knocking down all those threes, but here it is right here. Look at. All right, the only thing I would say about this is, I'm not trying to start nothing here, but Eric Spoelstra calls a timeout with a minute 30, down by 16. 30 seconds later, that play happens. 30 seconds later, why is he calling a timeout at 1:30?
Down 16.
And then why is that play happening? That play right there, 30 seconds later. I don't know, man. That looked shady to me.
What you call that?
Code red.
Explain to the people what code red means.
Code red. You know, like in A Few Good Men. Did you order the code red? Did you order the code red? You GD right, I did.
Good job censoring us.
No, but I'm just saying, like, why that play right there? Why would you see that play?
Why the timeout down 16 with 1:30 left?
Man,
and then
I didn't like that. And you go at the best player? I didn't like that.
So is this them trying to send a message, or is that just a dirty play?
I mean, to me, it's a dirty play.
Yeah.
I think anybody should look at that. Like, I think Martin should get suspended for that. That's a dirty play. You can't do that. Like, just think about that. The NBA is about the star players. The idea of winning a championship is your star players have to stay healthy. And the guy goes up and you just ram into him? That ain't basketball.
No, that wasn't basketball. And, fortunately, nothing happened to Jayson Tatum because it could have been bad. And, to be honest with you, we were up 30-something points. And if they just take care of business the first 3 minutes of that fourth quarter, then those guys shouldn't even be out there, But, I think they kind of let go of it. I mean, it's tough, human nature. You're blowing a team out, the crowd, everything's feeling good. Guys stop moving the ball, taking shots, not paying attention on defense the same way, a bunch of backdoor cuts and things like that. But we still were able to get the win by 20. This is the thing I love about this game is that every time Miami made a run, a mini run, we responded, and we responded with defense that led to offense, not just offense or trading buckets. We got stops after stops, and then we scored on them.
Well, when asked about it afterwards, Jayson Tatum did, his first response was that's playoff basketball. But I'm curious.
The replay.
Yeah. I'm curious how it impacts the rest of the series.
Number one, the NBA has to take a look. I don't know if they're going to fine him or not. I don't know if they're going to suspend him, but that's not a basketball play. I don't care what anybody says. If just ramming into a guy that's jumping for a rebound, did he go for the rebound? Did he jump? It wasn't over the back. He trucked him. That's weak. To me, that's weak.
Triple-double tonight. What did you see that got you into the flow of passing and getting your teammates involved first?
It was real simple. Just making the right play. And we talk about all the time not getting bored with making the right play. Finding a mismatch, drawing two, and, surround yourself with shooters.
It seems like being down Jimmy, that takes away a defender that could switch on to you or help on you. So is that just the focus of yours where if Miami's overreacting to you to get other players involved first?
Yeah, and, we played them enough. They're not a team that's necessarily going to let you play one-on-one all night. They do a really good job of being in help and showing a crowd. And, they just kind of force you to make the right play.
Jayson, you took a tough hit from Cale there in the final minute. What was just your viewpoint of that play, and how are you feeling after that collision?
I feel fine. I didn't see it. I went to go get the rebound, got knocked out there, fell, and I got right up and go shoot some free throws.
Jayson, first off, congratulations on the triple-double. How hard is it for you guys to avoid complacency after such a dominant start?
Not hard. We understand that it's supposed to be tough, right? That, the playoffs, no game is easy. There's no guaranteed wins regardless of time and score, how much time is left. So we know it's a game of runs that they were going to hit some shots and make a run. We just had to respond. And, we did that.
Jayson, you got right back up after getting hit. Was that kind of a message that you weren't hurt, you weren't affected by that? Obviously, as a physical play, you were midair when you got hit. What went into just stepping right back up and then kind of strutting to the free throw line?
Just understanding it's playoff basketball, right? It's a physical game, playing against a physical team. Shit's going to happen. It's not the last time I'm probably going to get hit like that or fouled in this series. So, I wasn't hurt. You get hit like that, just get up. And I knew he was in the bonus, so go down there and knock the free throws down.
How are you guys able to kind of withstand their run? They hung around till midway third quarter, and that's what they do. How were you able to withstand those runs and then kind of make that final blow late third quarter?
Just staying poised, right? This is the playoffs. It's a good team. We're not supposed to blow them out. It's not supposed to be easy. No lead is necessarily safe. And, don't panic in the sense when they're going to run and hit shots. Just continue to play the right way.